We're waiting for that. And we get the go signal. I'm Richard, and this is Dark Streets, Darker Secrets Pentola, in which we update Michael Lombardi's really fantastic Pentola setting from the Beneath the Canals zine, in which he works with a wonderful, diverse group of creators to flesh out the canals beneath the city of Pentola. And we've updated it for an early 20th century setting using Diogo Nogueira's fantastic OSR style game, Dark Streets and Darker Secrets. I have some fantastic players here with me, and they're going to introduce their characters to you, starting with Jason.
There we go, unmuted. Hi, I'm Jason, and also I have a baby crying in the next room, so we may need to get back. Okay, no, there's another parent in the house, we're good. I'm playing a fellow named Salazar. He's a level 2 gifted character, a once ordinary guy now hiding out in the body of a serpent man. It wasn't really by choice, but hey, now that he's in it, he's gonna, make the best of the ability to look like anybody, and that kind of thing.
Richard, you're muted.
Thank you. After Salazar, we'll go to Thubin playing Jabril.
Jabril, I don't know how to say his name, is also a gifted. He was chosen by a demon to whom he owes something. I don't even know what. Oh, right, it was his life, right. And yeah, and he is also part of this expedition team to do random jobs, I guess.
Followed by Stinter playing Sybil.
Okay, so Sybil is an unemployed oil equipment operator who is got into an accident and is carrying some sort of secret knowledge that she can't access, and also she can't read the secret book that we have, but she's pretty tough and can beat folks up. And I also have with me Monks, who will be playing an adorable pest during our game. So yeah, that's my situation.
Hey Monks, it's good to see you. I've heard so much about you. So that's it for players. What happened last time?
We got into 3 combats, I think. 2 or 3 combats. No, it was 2 combats only. Like we found the giant ant thing. We fought a snake, and then we fought the it was a snake, and then we fought at the other expedition team that had someone who Sybil knew, and also a blood mage that I had to murder, and we did.
I'm just going to throw out there, had to murder is a little strong. I think it was that your demon patron strongly encouraged you to murder.
Isn't that the same thing?
Just checking. Yeah, I believe that we had heard some rumor that there was a tomb with some long dead noble in it, wearing a cloak made from strange materials, and that it was suggested that we get there, but we found out that some folks that led by someone that Sybil once knew were going to beat us there. And when we got there, we found that they were led by someone who was wielding magic powers and turned into some kind of other inhuman creature upon being slain.
Wait, upon being slain, or was he always just a lizard person? I don't know.
I think that we didn't really notice it until after he went down.
Also, we did confirm that the princess had a cloak, and I have it.
You do have it, I believe. Yeah.
And there's a secret Illuminati organization who wants her bones for eugenics or something. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, that was a little speculative on our part. But last I checked, I was lugging around her remains.
Well, we do know that they were paying Sybil's old coworker with nice boots for to retrieve her bones for some experiments. So I was just thinking eugenics because of the time period, and also because what else are you gonna do with the bones of a royal?
Nice. All right. So what are you doing, or what did you do on recovering or coming back to the surface and having a lot of stuff you wanted to get rid of or sell? If you do, is there anything you're trying to keep to yourself? Is there anything you're looking into on your own, or is everything up for sale for the right buyer?
I think we just need to resolve whether we are actually giving away the bones or not.
Yeah, that's an important question. I mean, I'm happy to try and impersonate the fellow who was supposed to show up and be like, "Sorry, no bones." But I feel a little bit weird about showing up and collecting on his payday with bones that I don't know. He seemed like not a good guy. Like,
We
not
could
a good.
also get some more information on what the hell is going on with that.
Yeah, like I feel like maybe I stash some bones somewhere, show up to this meet and be like, "Hey, we're gonna need some more info before we're ready to turn over any bones here." Just throwing that out there. Um, that
Throw
may
him a
that may be a
bone.
quick way to get yourself killed. But yeah, I'm generally in favor of information gathering. And anything else? Would you want to sell that cloak or get it appraised by someone who's capable of reading magical objects or something? I don't know what you want to do with that.
I want to check if the book has any information on the cloak before I let anyone else touch the cloak.
How are you using the book? Are you just sort of like trying to go to an index or table of contents or flip through, or what are you doing?
I think it's just a weird book we established, so I don't even know. Just flip to a random page and see if it has any information on anything.
Roll your luck roll.
All right. Time to fail at this. Submit. That's a 5. That's a failure. I think it's rollover. Rollover
Yeah,
is
it's
a
roll
failure.
over. No, rollover is good. Roll under.
Oh, rollover is good. Okay, that makes sense.
Because it goes down. Rollover is good. So you have a 5, correct?
Wait, so if it goes down, so you get luckier as your luck score goes down?
No, it goes down. So you get less lucky. You get less lucky. Or sorry, it goes. Sorry, I am screwing this up. You are right.
All
Sorry,
right.
I'm thinking.
So I
thinking
am
in
not
reverse.
lucky.
So,
Okay.
yeah. So it goes down. Your luck score is now a 2, but it opens. To a page that has a sort of parable about keeping things hidden.
All right.
But it's what you're guessing from pictures, solely from the illumination.
All right.
It felt sort of like as you were flipping through the book, you were almost seeing words emerge, but when you actually opened to the page, there's like illuminations along the side of the page of people hiding things, and keeping things in the shadows.
All right.
And with cloak is this is not like a traveling cloak. This is a staying warm at night cloak. this is that you would use for dress, for in a more formal sense. It would go over, say, a gown, tunic, robes, largely to keep you warm, but also to indicate your station.
All
So it's not like a hooded adventurer's cloak that like you would associate with rogues or something like that. You also had her bones.
Correction, Salazar had her bones.
Salazar had her bones.
Yeah, where's a good place to hide some bones?
According to this weird book I just read, probably the cloak.
Fair. Were you going to be carrying that cloak around, though, I imagine, right?
Actually, if you give me the bones, and I'll hide them in the cloak and see what happens.
Sure, let's do that.
All right.
So you're carrying them around, or you're hiding them?
I'll hide them and hide the cloak in my bag and then leave it there for an undetermined amount of time until we need them. And oh god, if it actually stays hidden, then we might fuck up. But okay.
Now, her like some of them are hard to like encapsulate in your bag. I mean, the people's bones are fairly
All right.
substantial, if not in weight, at least in size.
Do we have a place to put to like
I think
rest?
you all have an apartment
Yeah.
or rooms of some sort. We can consider what those are in a moment, but yeah, you can certainly.
Yeah, I'll just leave them in the apartment, and if people ask us where the bones are, we don't have them on us.
So I think that's a good transition moment right there, Jabril. Where do you live? Do you have rooms, an apartment?
I think it's an apartment. It's
Tell me
like
about this. Is it like a small place above a store? Is it in a large tenement building? Is it tell me about this place.
I think it's more like a whatever the equivalent of a college student apartment would be, since I'm like only 22 and like and
So
I'm just doing odd jobs.
something small.
Yeah.
Maybe a room in an inn that you just sort of live in.
Yeah.
Early 20th century, it was not uncommon just to live in a hotel. Nor was it terribly expensive, absurdly expensive. Sybil, what about you? You're a little more mature, but you're also struggling. We're also out of work recently.
Yeah, I think that I like friend. I mean, I think I don't even have a room of my own. I'm kind of couch surfing and paying a little rent to some people that I kind of know, and because I'm getting just enough odd jobs like this to be able to kind of afford that much, but I can't even afford and it's in a really bad part of town. The building is in bad shape. There's bugs. There's a missing stair in the staircase. That kind of a situation.
Is this in their home or in their business that you're renting the space?
This is like a tenement building.
Okay.
And so there's the people that are officially on the lease have this crappy apartment, and then I'm not even at that level. I'm kind of paying to
you're sort of crashing on the sofa.
Yeah.
All right.
And it's the kind of thing I keep promising them. I'm gonna get it all together, and I'm gonna maybe be able to go on the lease and rent a real room with them or something, and it's never quite gets there.
Right. What about you, Salazar?
Am I muted? No, I'm not. Great. Salazar's living beneath the canals, surviving off of rats that he can catch, and hoping to, make enough money that he can, make himself a little, like space for himself, out of prying eyes. He's very nervous about being hunted down by the serpent folk that he escaped from, and is under the impression that the one woman who let him go and has been kind of checking in on him basically holds his entire life in her hands and could turn him in at any moment, and so feels like he owes her real bad. So he's basically just trying to stay out of sight, and only really comes above ground for brief periods. He can look like whatever he wants for an hour at a time, but like it takes considerably more effort to look like a specific person for a longer time, and he's not particularly good at that, according to the rules of this game, apparently. So he mostly just tries to stay out of sight.
Did you have a name for this woman, or do you not know it?
I don't believe I know it.
Okay. It wasn't in my notes, and I wanted to make sure that was correct.
No, I don't think that I said anything, or that she said
Okay.
anything. And I think that the last piece of information that was received from her was something like, "Hey, you know that there's this cloak that's made out of this interesting thing that's in this weird chamber. Maybe you want to go check it out." So I'm under the impression that this is an object of interest to her. So maybe it's just as well that it's not in my character's hands.
Nice. Okay. What has brought you both to Jabril's apartment?
Not
Hotel room.
not really having a better place to stash these bones.
Tonight.
I mean, I'm the only one with an apartment or room, I guess it seems. So.
Or with your own room.
Yeah.
Yeah,
See
privacy.
See what having a demon will get you.
Yeah, I'll take any excuse to stay out of the apartment because my roommates have been getting on my case lately. So.
All right. Let me do a quick check. Jabril, what does the one window in your room look out onto? Is it the alley, the street, the courtyard?
I think like a park.
Okay. Is it a public park or a private park?
It's I'm thinking it's more like a park near the town center. a small park, so public.
Okay. And what is the Sybil? What's you've sort of come to sort of get away from the people you live with and their expectations, especially since you sort of came back from that last adventure without a lot that anyone wanted to sell, that everybody seems to have wanted to hold on to rather than sell. What is the celebration going on in the park, sort of outside Jabril's window? And why wouldn't you want to go there?
So I think it's a like a victory party for the local council member who just got reelected, and so it's all the like rich and important people from the area that I wouldn't want to have anything to do with, and you know the election was probably bought off anyway, and so they're all having a good time and drinking more expensive champagne than I've ever had in my life. And, my opinion at least is that, sure, it's corrupt and they basically bought the election, but it's not like it really matters anyway who wins something like that.
Right, right. And Salazar, now that the party has started, why are you afraid to leave Jabril's room, even though it's night?
Where we just said this is a party that a lot of elected people who are particularly powerful are at. I have to assume that there are people in disguise who are serpents who would recognize me, potentially even if while I'm in disguise. It's not entirely clear to me what they can see through, or I mean, crap, I can read minds. Does that mean that they can read mine? I guess maybe it does. That's really nerve-wracking. I don't want to leave this place.
Jabril, do you keep your windows, in terms of curtains and glass, both, do you keep them open or closed?
I think they're mostly open.
Okay. Define mostly open.
Like I don't care if people close them.
Okay. So you keep both the window, the glass, and the curtains open, or?
The curtains open, not necessarily the glass.
Okay. So the glass is open, and you can sort of see people. Sort of moving around down in the park below, and there's certainly police officers. There's certainly police officers sort of in front of the park, keeping the riffraff out, so that it can be used for a private celebration. And you can see the people coming by, and there's sort of a receiving line to talk to the recently re-elected council member. And there's several sort of trade union folks there representing the largely collapsed oil company. And I think these are the kind of people that you would recognize as largely self-interested instead of worker-interested. Sybil. But you don't have you don't have a great view of the park. Like if you go stand at the window, you can sort of look out, but otherwise you're just sort of hearing and kind of catching glimpses out of the side of your eye. Or side of your vision? What are you guys talking about or discussing?
If no one has any ideas, we're probably discussing the plan with the bones and the cloak.
Yeah, I mean, and even if we have any other follow-up jobs, it's like, all right, do we need to sit on this? Do we need to? Was there anything else that did you have any other leads that we needed to be following up on? Do we need to immediately go to whatever the drop point was for these bones and try and follow up on that?
Sybil, anything you're bringing in or want to bring up?
I think Sybil is mostly just kind of grousing that we haven't gotten paid for this yet, and she's kind of hoping that that's where this is all going to lead.
Who was financing this again?
Your friend sort of suggested that the three of you go look, correct? Is that right?
Yeah, I don't think we had a specific offer like, get me this, I will pay you this much.
Gotcha.
I think it was like a tip more than a
Gotcha.
gig.
Yeah, Salazar, I think that was your friend.
Friend.
Who suggested that.
I mean, we could try and sell something to her, I guess.
Do you know how to get in touch with her?
No, I have no idea. Well, I could go back to the last place I saw her.
And I think that's when sort of give me a little bit of a is it a 2-room?
I think it's just single room, and it has. I don't think it has amenities because it's mainly just the room and the like a studio mode, I guess.
And the three of you start to hear a commotion in the park below. Like you start to hear some yelling.
Why are they yelling about something in particular?
I mean, there's something about corruption, and you hear some bottles being thrown.
So I think Sybil's just going to go over and just kind of open the window and stick her head out to see what's going on.
Sybil, make a go ahead and just. I think you're sticking your head out, and Sybil, I think the first thing you notice has anything to do with the park. I mean, the park is sort of erupting in a little bit of a brawl towards the gates, but not towards anyone actually entering the party. But the people brawling seem to be doing a lot of yelling. I think the first thing you notice, Sybil, is that you don't recognize the emblem, like the Union emblem that they're wearing. And I think you would notice most of the Union emblems. Like you would, but they're wearing a weird emblem that looks like a Union emblem, but not one that you recognize. But the other thing you notice right away are the two people sort of on the ledge who look like they were crouched ready to break into the apartment and now look very surprised to see you stick your head out. What do you do?
How close are the people on the ledge?
They're 2-3 feet from you.
Okay.
It's not a big picture window. It's just sort of a small
Okay.
quick window.
So if they're close enough, I want to try to reach out and grab one of them by the shirt.
Okay. Why don't you make a physique check?
Okay. So remind me, that's a
Yeah,
D20.
you're gonna roll a D20 equal to or under your physique. So equal to or under 11.
Okay. Under. I got a 1.
Nice. Were you planning to push him over or haul him in?
Haul him in.
Yeah, I think it's just one fell swoop. And you've got him sort of like by the scruff of the neck, pinned against the wall next to the window, in like an almost gracefully aggressive motion.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's just suddenly like standing there looking vaguely surprised that you stuck your head out, and all of a sudden you have him sort of by the collar, pinned up against the wall, a couple of feet off the floor, which, since Jabril's apartment does not have famously high ceilings, is almost to the ceiling itself. He's almost sort of face smashed against the ceiling.
Yeah. And so I'll say to him, you better explain yourself real quick.
Let us make everybody have an agility check and just tell me whether you succeed or fail on it.
Success.
I succeeded. Got another 1.
Yeah, against odds, succeeded.
All right, all of you can act before either the guy pinned against the wall tries to do anything, or the guy who's still on the ledge, who looks like he's trying to decide whether to try to rescue or try to escape, does anything. So the three of you, in whatever order you wish, tell me what you're doing.
I think I'm going to hold the guy I've got and just tell the other 2 there's one more out there on the ledge.
Okay.
Just so they're aware that we've got an additional person to worry about.
The guy is like, you've got him sort of pinned against the wall, correct? Sort of like scruff of the neck.
Mm-hmm.
So he's sort of like fumbling in his belt. And I'll come back to you to see what you want to do before he does anything. What do the other 2 of you want to do about that other one who's on the ledge?
I would like to just say sleep now and see if I can put them both to sleep.
Oh, nice. Even while he's on the ledge?
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm sure it'll be fine. Target. Oh, I can't do that. They're not right next to each other. Excuse me. So, no, that's a crappy thing to do. That guy. Why don't?
Well, let me tell you. Let's start with Jabril.
Yeah.
Roll me a D3, if you would.
Fuck! I have to take out the.
Or actually, do a D4. Let's do a D4.
All right. Submit. That's a 2.
A 2. You're on the 3rd level of the building, which would be the 2nd floor. So the ground, European style, the ground floor is not the 3rd floor. So you're on the 2nd floor of the building, which is 3 stories up.
I guess I'll also attempt to grab the guy or I'll grab the other guy.
Okay.
Do the same thing as Sybil, but I can actually damaging touch him.
So why don't we, I just wanted to get a sense of what was at stake. So why don't we start with the sleep spell?
Sure, I'll try and do that on the guy who's fumbling for something in his belt, just so that we have time to tie him up or something.
Do you want to go for both of them? It'll be a difficulty 2.
Oh, I misunderstood the wording of the original thing. It only works when people are clustered very close together.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, why don't you try and pull that guy in, and we'll see what we can do after that.
Okay.
We can do that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, I will roll physic. I succeed.
Nice.
I
So
got a 5.
you've grabbed him and pulled him towards the window. You don't have him pinned up since Sybil got that critical 1.
Yeah.
But you've pulled him in. Are you going to try to touch him?
Yeah. I spend. All right. I'll do PL2 since I don't have to spend vitality for that now that I'm level 2, right?
Yeah, I don't think so. No.
All right. So attempting to do that, reroll 19. That doesn't do anything.
Right, but it also does not critically
Fail.
There's no corruption or backlash.
Good.
You got lucky. Very close. But he's in. Do you want to try to put them both to sleep now?
Oh,
Salazar?
sure. Yeah. Do I only roll once for that?
You do.
Alrighty. Let's see what happens.
And I think you have to spend 2 power level, right?
Yes. Which is not a problem as long as I'm at level 2, right?
Right.
Okay.
Is that correct, Zubin?
I have no idea how any of this works. So
Okay,
let me
so let
look
me-
at. Let me double check by looking at while rolling.
And for some reason, I rolled down to all these weird monsters. I don't know why I'm looking at those.
Yeah. Oh, it's up to that. The power level determines the HD that you can sleep.
Right. But
Oh, I see. Yep. It's just one roll, but it's based on their hit dice, right?
Yeah.
So it's your power level exceeds. Oh, the difference between the power level and the power and the character's level, which would be 0. So
Okay. Great.
Uh,
Then it worked. They'll be out for up to 2 turns.
nice.
Unless they resist it. I don't exactly know how that works.
What's your willpower?
My willpower is, I believe,
13.
13. Thank you. Oh, that's right.
So
They
what
could
they
roll.
do is they try to roll and beat
That's
your.
right.
That's sort of their NPC saving throw
Right.
against your spell, which they are not going to succeed in doing at all. They got a 6.
Terrific.
So there's 2 sleeping figures.
Let's tie them up
Yeah.
with rope. I'm a fan of rope.
I'm going to spend one of my slots to get rope.
Sybil, you've got rope. I mean, it's your apartment.
Oh yeah, then I let's not spend slots then. I would rather not spend slots than do.
You also have things like sheets and towels and other things.
Oh yeah,
you can
bed
tie people
sheets.
up with.
Let's
Yeah.
time them up with bed sheets.
You have plenty of things you can tie people up with. Sybil, because you were holding one against the wall. Is there anything you want to do as you see him sink to sleep, sort of in your grasp, as he was clearly trying to loosen something from his belt so he could try to hit you with it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think part of the process of getting them tied up now that they're asleep is searching them for weapons and anything else that we can take from them.
They both had blackjacks, but nothing that would cause noise. And they had blackjacks and daggers. They did not have guns.
What are blackjacks?
Blackjacks are those sort of like small socks you fill with sand. Or am I thinking of the wrong word there, Jason?
Or like a sap or
Sap is the word I was
a
thinking.
cudgel, basically. A small blunt object you use to try and knock somebody out.
Yeah,
Okay.
like I was thinking more sap, but yeah, the one that's just sort of like it's a small sleeve of cloth you fill with sand and you sort of use to
Beat the shit out of people. Okay.
Yeah, and they're really easy to hide as people use them. No, officer, I don't have a small blunt object. I just have a sock.
I was at the beach.
I just had a sock.
Out of curiosity, well, Sybil would probably know this better, but or would probably be a because we didn't notice the union symbols. But can I ask, or out of character, can I ask to say that, or ask? Sorry, are they part of the union, the unknown union? That's what I wanted to know.
You
Out of
don't see
character.
any marks on these people,
Okay.
but the police seem to have dispersed the fight below with most of the people. With most what Sybil can recognize as fake rabble rousers,
Yeah.
have dispersed pretty quickly.
Yeah, like my character doesn't know that there was a union down there or a fake union down there, but like she knew about the Sybil knew, so that's why
Yeah,
I
I
didn't
think
want to make the assumption that.
Yeah, I think Sybil would explain it quickly as we're incapacitating these guys.
All right.
Anything you want to do before they wake up or before you wake them up?
Hide the cloak, hide the bones.
Where are you hiding it?
Closet.
Okay.
There's no place to hide an entire human being, right?
Closet.
I'm assuming the skeleton is not necessarily big and intact, but it's
Oh,
Sorry.
oh, that's what you meant. No, I think
That's not what I meant.
Oh,
actually.
sorry.
I was formulating a cockamamie scheme that involved, well, if we could keep one of these guys tied up and out of the way, and if I were capable of actually impersonating that guy's appearance, it would really go a long way toward pretending like I'm going to rat you out, and then hopefully the other guy would try and rat me out first.
Oh, that the betray. What's it called? I forget.
Like a prisoner's dilemma.
Yes, that
thing,
one.
except that one of the prisoners is a Confederate in this case.
Yes.
is in fact.
I like cockamamie schemes like that, so I think we should totally do that.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna
like
try
drag
to
the one guy into the bathroom or something if we need to.
No, I'll put the bones and the cloak in the bathroom, and then put the other one in. Or it depends. Is the closet big enough? That is a good question.
Well, you can get somebody in the closet. I mean, like it'll be tight.
Wow.
It's one of those urban closets that's like you've already got too much stuff in there.
All right.
Because there's no one has that little stuff.
Maybe.
But you
not the closet.
you can jam somebody down into the closet.
They also have to stay quiet though. That's the only issue. So
Well,
gag them as well.
Yeah, let's gag them. Tie them up real tight. I improbably rolled a 5 on my intellect roll, so I actually managed to impersonate this person's appearance. Okay.
Okay.
So you've pulled like their black. These guys are dressed for stealth and breaking and entering.
Great.
So they're wearing black and charcoal gray.
Also tie Salazar up to make it more credible.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, you can do the. So the other guy is sort of tied up. Is somebody sort of like standing over by the closet to keep him quiet?
Sorry.
I can't volunteer.
Did you say something about shoving socks down his throat or something to keep him quiet? I spaced out.
No, are you keeping somebody over by the closet to make sure he doesn't wiggle out or do anything like that?
Sybil, probably.
Does that make sense?
Oh,
that
yeah.
makes sense. She's the tough. Tough. She does that.
So
And
you'll be
I'll do that.
You'll be asking the questions, Jabril?
Yes. Also, worst case scenario, I can just make them scared shitless.
All right. So let's escalate forward a few moments, and the guy you captured is coming to. The other one is bound up in the closet, looking confused, and groggy, and the other one is sort of coming to. And how does this play out?
I'm doing my best to look confused and groggy, and basically just jump right into like being questioned. Like, what did you do to us? What did you do?
Okay, who are you? Looking at the other guy to make him want to answer, other than because Salazar would not answer, probably. Yeah.
What do you say, Salazar?
Well, we don't know anybody. We don't know anybody anything. Just let us out of here.
Does the other one say anything?
Make a luck check.
Fuck. I have to
Salazar
look.
or Jabril, but not both.
Oh, Salazar, please, because I have.
What am I rolling? A D6?
Or you
Yeah.
can make an intellect check as well.
I would actually love to read his mind if that's a thing I could do.
Let's just to see if he's let's see if he's like going to play along. If he's buying it.
The luck check is am I rolling luck or intellect?
You tell me. You pick.
Well, I don't know how luck checks work, but I rolled a 3, and if
That's
it's
a success.
3 is a success.
all right, great. And my intellect check was again improbably also a success. So.
Also remember that you can grant me the ability to bring in your complication.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
To up your luck by 1.
Okay.
For the session.
Yeah, I consider that free reign. Anytime you want.
So you'll actually have 4 of 3 luck for this session.
Hey, great.
And yeah, he just starts like. One second. I need to get a name generator open, which I'm sure is terribly entertaining for the audience at home. And he's just like, "Shut up, Mahir, you fool!"
What?
I told him to shut up.
Oh.
He shouldn't talk. We don't talk.
Well, you're talking right now, and you better talk right now.
He just sort of sneers.
What, are you trying to get yourself killed?
Are you trying to read his mind there?
Yeah.
Salazar?
Yeah.
Wait, wasn't that the intellect check from before, or that's a different thing?
That was just
that was the
him,
luck
basically.
check.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was just to like sort of like. Well, I think the first one you did was to see if you imitated the way he looked.
Yeah. And then more recently was like, is he buying this, basically?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I just succeeded the roll to try and read his mind.
With yes, that is a success.
What'd you get? Total of a 9?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's under willpower. I thought I was reading intellect and I was like, wow, is that a crit? But no, it's willpower.
What you see in his mind, well, what you hear in his mind is the word the Suzerain.
I'm sorry, what's that?
The Suzerain? The Suzerain?
As in like scissors?
1 second.
Oh, okay. That's into chat there.
Suzerain. So am I saying that correctly? Anybody tell me if I'm embarrassing myself terribly?
I mean,
I've always said it's Suzerain, but
I've never heard the word.
Apparently some sort of overlord. I just looked it up.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But what you see in his mind is an image of the woman as she looks to you sort of out of the corner of your eye before she begins speaking to you, and you see her serpent person face, her lizard person face, her reptilian face. But what you see is what she clearly intends to look like to humans.
Listen, the Suzerain isn't paying us enough to get ourselves killed.
Holmes is the Suzerain. Or who is the Suzerain? Sorry.
Yeah, he immediately starts going apostate, heretic, unloyal, unworthy. I would never have thought, and you are an idiot, Mahir, but not a traitor. I thought.
Something about heresy? What? Care to explain more?
No, because I am not disloyal. I will not sell out my faith.
Alright, I am going to scare him the shit. So he talks now. So they have to test willpower.
What is it you're doing?
The demon special ability.
Oh,
Giving an aura of fear.
so what are you doing to scare him?
So I'm just gonna say, yeah, maybe you're not a heretic, but are you scared? And then that's when I activate my aura of fear. That makes him it just an unsettling aura, and he from on the back of his mind he just hears growling.
So let's have him beat an 11 on a d20 roll. 1 second. He does not. And actually, he needs to beat a 12 because you are more capable than he. At this point, Sybil, the bound and gag guy in the closet, is trying to like kind of chew his gag out or spit his gag out and get out from the bonds. What do you do to keep him quiet?
Yeah, 'cause this is tricky because we kind of don't want the other guy to even know he's in there.
Right.
Um, I as a player, I'm a little stumped about a good approach to this.
I think, if I may say something, I think the it's less relevant now that we actually have some information out of him, and he's probably not gonna say more according to like by relying on the partner, because he already thinks the partner is a heretic.
You could also, think of it as trying to be either threatening or trying to just sort of restrain him from moving. Either fear or force might work, and you may come up with something other than that.
Yeah. So my thought is maybe that I'll kind of yell out to Jabril, like in a voice that the guy in the closet's meant to overhear, something about, I hear some cockroaches moving in there. Do you have any poison?
Test your willpower. Sybil, I'm just going to have him try to roll and beat your willpower instead of
Okay. So
you
do I need to
wasting
roll
your
anything?
time with a roll. No, he does not.
Okay.
Um, and his eyes just go wide, and he kind of goes slack.
All right.
Oh, okay. So I think part of the reason I was having trouble with this
Mhm.
was that I was envisioning myself standing outside the door.
Okay.
And that's why I was having trouble coming up with like, shit, what can I do that won't give away that he's in there?
Oh, I was sort of thinking that since it was
That
a
I
quick
was in the
tie-up-
closet
Yeah.
holding him. Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking it was more
Okay.
since it was a quick tie-up job, you'd want to be at least where you could sort of see him.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah, because if that's the situation, I can quietly threaten him much more easily. Because I was just envisioning it as we threw him in the closet, closed the door, and I was like standing there leaning against it so that he wouldn't get out.
Oh, okay, yeah. In either case, you have scared the living fuck out of him.
Okay.
all right. How about the other one? Is he scared the living fuck out of?
He's very he's distraught and terrified, and he's like, "Don't kill me! Don't kill me! Don't kill me!"
Okay, then start talking.
I'm freaking out too. Don't kill me.
The Suzerain said we should come find out what you had.
Who's the Suzerain?
The Suzerain was here, the guru, the advisor.
Can you explain it as if I was 5 years old? Because I have no idea who this Suzerain is.
The greatest spiritual teacher in Pentola. How can you not have heard of the Suzerain of Zahir?
Out of character, have I?
How much time do you spend sort of in society or around society? Or actually, you can test your intellect.
That makes sense. That is a critical.
A 1?
12. And my intellect is 12.
Oh, yeah. So you've heard of the Suzerain before. There's lots of books and pamphlets that the Suzerain of Zahir publishes about discovering your knowledge of your inner self and partaking in the rights of self-awareness and enlightenment of the soul and spiritual awakening, so that people can truly see. You know that there are meetings, and there's a few very wealthy people who follow the Suzerain, but a lot of them are either middle class, working class people who go to the meetings and contribute a good bit of money.
So like a New Age Scientology type of self-help person. Okay, cool.
Kind of a self-help cult.
Self-help cult. Okay. All right. I think. Oh, right. I remember now. All right. What does this Suzerain want from us? Then I ask.
She said you would have the things she was looking for.
Which are? She's welcome to make an offer of payment. In monetary payment if she wants them, but to have them stolen from us is uncouth.
I'm not I'm not entitled to negotiate on her behalf, but I'm very, very certain that she would. And he sort of sneers at Salazar, who he still thinks is his companion. She would negotiate for my safety.
All right. Again, what is it that she wants?
The cloak and the skull.
What's so important about a cloak and some bones?
Spiritual awareness and the Suzerain's teachings will restore the greatness of Pentola. And collecting the artifacts of empire will help us restore that golden age.
All right. Here's what I'm thinking. Like I said, we would be willing to sell these objects, but first we need to get compensated somehow for retrieving them. So why don't you go back to the Suzerain and make an appointment with her for us? So we can discuss this further.
Does anyone else add anything to that? Or jump in? He nods enthusiastically that yes, you'll let me go, and I will. Where should I tell the Suzerain to meet you?
I probably, and then I give out some generic back alleyway location that that is commonplace for this type of deal. Some shady ass location that I know.
All right. Tonight at just before first dawn.
Sure.
Remember that Pentola is on a donut-shaped world, so it has 2 nights and 2 days in the 24-hour period.
All right. Cool. Makes sense.
And he sort of nods enthusiastically. Just let me go and keep him hostage.
Don't worry about that. I'll let him go, and then I'll nod to Sybil to let the other guy go.
Sybil, is that what you do, or?
I mean, if that's because Jabril's kind of running the show here, so if Jabril's signaling
I
me to
mean, we
let
don't
the
have
other,
any reason to keep him locked anymore. Shrug.
yeah, I mean,
Unless we want to ask them any more questions. I don't think.
Are you
yeah,
going to do
and
that sort of in front of the two of them so that they can see that they now see that they were tricked?
That would be hilarious. So yes.
yeah, and because they'll figure it out eventually, anyways, as soon as they actually
Yeah,
talk to each other. And one guy's like, "Man, I was locked in this closet," and the other guy's like, "But you said this." So
yeah.
so I think I'll, open the door, grab the other guy, and kind of toss him out into the room. Untie.
Very well, then. We will tell the Suzerain to meet you there. The guy who was locked in the closet is looking at everyone with abject disgust, including his former compatriot. Are you still trying to look like him, Salazar?
Yeah, I'm actually gonna sit on the floor and go, "Are you guys just gonna leave me here?"
One second. It's a perfect die of fate moment. So yeah, confusion ensues, and there's accusations of fakeness, and the one who is not Mahir is standing up and screaming like, "Leave your traitor agent here." And
Ah.
the real Mahir is trembling and sort of. But I'm the as they leave. As they leave, there's accusations and confusion.
I'll just sit on the floor looking sullen then.
So I think they're going to leave, and we're going to go to a break.
Yes.
Um,
Let me untie Salazar because I don't want to keep him tied anymore.
I was assuming that you were
Yeah.
fake tying him anyway.
I assume so too. Did
Yeah,
you
yeah.
really tie me up? What the?
I thought we were making this as realistic as possible, but
I was
okay.
assuming you'd had some little slip knot or something, but
Oh, okay.
Let's come back at 10 after 10. I think that's everybody's time, and I will see you all then. Welcome back.
Hello.
All right. So you're going to the rendezvous point, correct? Am I understanding correctly? There's no intention,
Yeah, sure.
anything you
Yeah.
need to do on the way to the rendezvous point? Specific, or are you taking any detours or anything like that?
There's no way to commune with my demon, as far as I know, right?
You can try to summon a messenger or something.
It's more like trying to figure out what's our take on this lady, Suzerain.
Mm-hmm. Let me look at the sample powers real quick. 1 second. I think what you could do is you can summon some sort of servitor of your demon
Okay.
and have that sort of communicate for you.
All right. Cool. Let's do HD2. So PL2.
1 second. Let me.
For 2 turns.
All right.
8, which is a success. Wow, we're just succeeded on everything today.
Yeah. Where do you go, and what does this little summoning look like?
I think I just do it at in another alleyway
Sort of on the way there, or
on the way there. Yeah.
and what do you have? What little token do you have that lets you summon the servitor of your demon?
I think it's just some uh saliva,
Okay.
like
Like a
some dog
little.
saliva.
Um, and this sort of creature comes to you,
Right.
and it sort of like flies on bat wings, even though um, it's flying on bat wings, even though it looks like sort of a dog with hands.
Makes sense. All right. I asked the dog with hands and bad wings. All right. Should I be concerned about the Suzerain? What's her deal?
And what's your willpower?
14.
14?
Yeah.
All right, 1 second. She's very powerful, but she's not an enemy of ours.
That's good to know.
She may try to test you, and she may not tell you it's coming.
Yeah, I noticed about that. uh,
Oh, I mean, yet still.
oh, okay. No, but like I meant like I figured that was her modus operandi since she just sent people to to steal from us instead of
Yes.
paying us.
I believe she's going to be quite impressed that you sent them back.
Sure, okay, thanks.
Is there Anything else? You can't trust her more than you trust anyone else you do work for, but you can't
Yeah.
trust her any less than you trust people you do work for.
Makes sense. So about that, about the former glory of Pentola, uh, is there any more information you can give out?
She's been collecting old things, but I don't think that's for reasons that she tells her cult about.
All right, makes sense. Do you know why?
Oh, she likes old things. Then he sniffs the air and sort of points at Salazar, made by his kind.
All right, that is good to know. All right. Thank you for your time. You can do whatever you want now.
Oh, is there anything else I can do for you?
I look at my companions. Is there?
Would you say that she could be trusted any more than any other of her kind?
I mean, can you ever really trust someone who's in a managerial relationship with you?
Well, I suppose I hadn't really looked at it that way.
Mm. She views you as tools, nothing else.
How's she treat her tools?
Depends on how expensive and hard to replace they are.
Oh, okay.
But she's put some effort into recruiting you.
That's something.
Very well.
Thanks,
Uh,
little guy.
How little is he?
He's pretty small.
Okay.
Like pug-sized.
Oh god, he's just a
Oh,
bug. Alright. Alright. Sybil, any questions you have?
No, I think he about covered it. I think Sybil's probably a little weirded out because I'm guessing this is the first time she's seen this kind of being.
Alright, cool. In that case, we don't have any more questions.
Well, I was hoping it'd be an interesting evening. But there's a thick smell of brimstone and metal, iron, and then it's gone in sort of a puff of smoke.
Well, now we have a meeting to get to.
Sybil, tell me about someone you see along the way who catches your eye. It's as you're moving through a city, you see a lot of people, but occasionally something just sort of registers.
Let's see. So we're going to, I assume, a kind of shady part of town for this back alley rendezvous.
Pretty close to where you'd go into the Undercity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we pass an older woman who is dressed very nicely, much nicer than we usually see around here, with a bird sitting on her shoulder, like a parakeet kind of bird, and just kind of riding along. It seems to obviously be a trained pet, and she's kind of going orthogonal to where we're going, but seems to definitely know where she's going. So she doesn't look like lost or uncomfortable in this place, like you might expect someone that's dressed like she is.
Sorry, I was muted. So well dressed. What's something, a visual detail that will always stick out to you about this person, besides the parakeet?
She's got her hair in kind of a long braid. It's pretty thick, and it's not just like old person gray, but it's like almost silver.
All right. Salazar, as you're moving along, tell me about someone who sticks out at you. This is, as you might guess, a substantial walk. Someone who sort of sticks out at you.
There's a man. He's wearing a very, very long coat. He is walking with a strange gait that almost makes it look like he has 2 or 3 people stacked on each other under the coat. Salazar sincerely wonders whether that is in fact the case. They exchange glances.
What about this person's eyes will you recognize anywhere?
They seem way too small for his head. Maybe that's just the very strange large lenses worn over them.
Like glasses?
Yeah, but they seem to be fastened on with like a strap, like welding goggles or something.
Is he wearing a hat?
Yes.
What kind?
It's like a bowler, but with a broader brim.
Finally, Jabril.
I think I see an child,
Mm-hmm.
and it probably an orphan, alone, and
What makes you think
Yes.
it's an orphan?
just the clothes, how they're just like and and also the fact, and so he's by himself, and he's has dirty clothes that are too small for him. Is and do you need an odd feature as well? Like,
Yeah.
I think he smells like ash. Like a strong scent of ash.
Despite those dirty clothes, what bit of jewelry or ornament sticks out to you as especially out of place?
I think he has a ring.
Tell me a little
And
about that. What's two things you noticed about that ring before you walk on?
The ring is actually the right size for him, which is weird considering, like, why would an orphan have a ring that's exactly his size?
Or why would a child have a ring that's exactly their size?
Yeah. And the band seems at long distance first inspection seems to be made of silver. And it's a weird silver, not even like like an off-color silver.
Not tarnished, but off color.
Yeah.
All right. You get to the rendezvous point and it's empty. What's your approach to the rendezvous point like?
As in, how do we get there, or
No, just like as you get close by, are you trying to approach openly, stealthily?
I'll approach openly with a sack full of bed sheets or pillows or something.
I think I'll try to stealth with my spell. So first I'm gonna cast Shadow Cloak
Okay.
at 1. PL1. Oh no, PL2. And I critically succeed. And then I'm gonna stealth, which I also critically succeed at. I got a 14 on my casting and an 11 on my stealth.
So you tell me about how you're stealthily approaching. Are you sort of like letting people go ahead while you stick to the shadows? What's that look like?
Yeah, pretty much. It's just me blending in with the shadows as people walk, as Salazar walks ahead with bed sheets, and I don't know how stable is he just approaching, so I can't comment on that.
What
So
are you
make
doing,
a
Sybil?
Sybil can't do stealth. Sybil isn't capable of stealth, so I think Sybil is just backing up Salazar.
Sybil, are you brandishing any weapons, just trying to look as peaceful as possible? What's your approach?
Yeah, I'm trying to look confident but not directly threatening. So like I've got my machete with me, but I'm not like fingering it or anything. I'm just trying to look casual.
Somebody looking at you could see you could draw it, but you're not like, I'm about to draw it.
Yeah.
Okay. There's no one here. I'd like all of you to make an intellect check, unless you'd rather make and if you fail at that, you can make a luck check to succeed.
I succeed. I got a 3.
Okay.
I too succeed with a 5.
How do you do?
Muted. I got a 9, which is not good enough.
Oh, Do you want to do a luck check to see if you succeed still, or?
Is there any downside to that?
You may get snuck up on if you don't.
Okay, then I guess I'm doing that. So that's am I still just rolling
D6.
a d6? Okay.
Yeah, sorry. Apologize. You want to get equal to or under your luck?
Right. Okay. I got a 4, and my luck is 3, so I failed at that as well.
So, Sybil. Is it all right if I bring in your forbidden knowledge?
Oh, absolutely. Please do.
Yes, would that make it a success?
Yes, it would.
Okay, good.
Sybil, that place where you hear the rats, there's a door there. There is indeed a door there that will go places that you have not gone before and that many people do not know about. It goes down into parts of the Undercity and beyond that you have not been to, and that most people have not been to either. And then looking at that, where the door is, and you know it's a hidden door. It's not a visible door. You see somebody stealthing there, who lunges out at you. But you can do something to try to stop him from lunging at you first, since you made that luck check.
Yeah, I think if somebody's lunging at me, then my instinct is going to be to draw the machete and let
strike
them,
at them.
Yeah, or just let them impale themselves on it. Just like whip it out and point it in their direction.
Make a physique check.
Okay. 11. And I got it.
All right. You can roll a d6 plus 1.
Okay. So that's going to total of 5.
Mm-hmm. That is a 1 sec. Something quick for me to do. Oh yeah, you do you let himself just impale himself on this?
Yeah, I think that's what I'm going for. Is like if somebody's lunging at me, then because otherwise, rather than me trying to aim and hit them, I'm just holding it out like defensively. And if they impale themselves upon it, well, then that's their own fault for lunging at me, kind of thing.
He is impaled on this, just sort of, and just sort of collapses. And 2 more people are there suddenly, very close by, going to try to apprehend your friends.
Reminder that they can't see me because I critically succeeded at both casting my spell.
Both of them are going for Salazar because he has the sack. However, at any point, because they are essentially a lower level than you, Sybil, you can just declare that one of them takes a d6 of damage.
Okay, so I can just declare that.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can just declare that at any point. But first, let's find out what Salazar's doing. There's two people sort of jump out of the shadows at you.
And this is just sort of like a remote back alley right now that there's not really like.
It's a back alley. That's not like you can call the cops. I mean, also, you're selling potentially goods that would be perceived as black market. So
Sure, and there's not like a ceiling.
Yeah, there's not a ceiling at all.
That's great because I would like to be much taller.
How does that work?
Um,
Mechanically, and how does it work sort of fictionally?
Mechanically, it is basically just I roll will, and if it rolls on my will score or under, then I double in size for power level turns, which gives me plus power level vitality and plus d6 damage.
Okay.
Fictionally, how that works is effectively that let me ask you this. What happens to my clothing?
I think that it'll get a little ragged, but it will still be intact.
Sounds great. He doesn't really tend to wear like really fancy clothes anyway, living in the sewers and all. So yeah, basically it just he goes from looking like some guy on the street, it's always kind of changing, to a I don't know, like about a 12-foot tall, scaly, cobra hooded reptilian monster kind of thing, and angry looking because that's part of the the whole shtick. So yeah, I'm gonna roll some will there.
Yeah.
Willpower, that's what that's called.
Yeah.
Let's see how that goes. And I'm gonna do it at power level 2 because why not?
Okay.
And I don't think I actually did anything there. I just hit submit. There we go. I rolled a 7. That's terrific. So I'm much bigger now. So I have +2 vitality for the time being, and I'm really big. And if anybody would like to continue to make their way toward me without being polite about it, then I have some ideas about how I'd like to handle that.
Neither of them looks polite. Let me though check. What's your current vitality?
14.
14. One of them sort of picks up speed, but the other sort of like breaks and runs away. You think you hear screaming, but in the heat of battle, it's like or whimpering at least. One is running towards you. Are you going to try to strike that one?
Oh, is that even an option?
Oh yeah. Well, you've already grown and it's frightened him. Let's see what Jabril is doing, lurking in the shadows there.
All right. I go up behind him and draining touch him.
Why don't you make that willpower check? What power level are you using during touch?
2. And do I get advantage for
You do get advantage. You get a positive die. I'm going to keep calling it advantage.
Yeah, same. That hits. Let me reroll to see. Okay, it hits. It's not a crit.
Okay. What power level were you using?
2.
2. All right.
So it's 2d6 plus 2. Let me actually roll 2d6 plus 2. Submit. That is 10 damage.
You drain him? Is this how your damaging touch works?
Yeah, it just drains him of energy, and if he dies, he dies.
He falls as a husk to the ground. And then you feel a very gentle clapping.
Wow, you're starting to get predictable.
I sense that you had a warning that we would be here.
We had an appointment.
Oh, I mean that I had something up my sleeve, says the small child with the silver ring, stepping out of the shadows and sitting on the ground.
Well, anyways, how about we negotiate payment instead of, trying to beat the shit out of us with incompetent men?
We just wanted to test and see if you were as competent as the Suzerain had suggested. The Suzerain had very high expectations for Salazar, says an older woman with a parakeet on her shoulder stepping out of the shadows.
Salazar looks very awkward, standing 12 feet tall.
What's your asking price? Says a man in a bowler hat.
Looking at my companions, well, these artifacts are priceless, right?
They're very valuable, but I think one of the maxims of those who hunt the Undercity is that nothing is priceless.
That's accurate. How, out of character, how much would like conceivably we be paid for this?
I don't know the Pentolan currency, but let's go with dollars for now.
Yeah, don't we just have like money ratings?
Yeah, like
yeah. I mean,
also money
in the game, you just have money ratings, but
I'm interested in both, honestly. Like what the money rated would be and what we would offer in character, or asked for in character, rather.
It offers enough money to take all of you up. One moment. To a 3.
Salazar will jump in to say, we also want answers.
Well, as you might guess, we also want assistance. We're not interested in just having people retrieve a single cloak, though you were very, very good at that. We're interested in having people on retainer.
You mean bodyguards?
Oh, no. Very few people can threaten the Suzerain, says the bowler hat wearing man, looking sort of Salazar up and down, standing 12 feet tall. The Suzerain has little need of bodyguards.
Then what do you mean by retainers?
The Suzerain has many needs for... Oh, no. I need to keep you on a retainer.
Oh!
A small stipend. Or a handsome stipend.
For collection services.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
For the exploration of the Undercity.
Sure. Let's get we can get paid more by working more. I look at my companions to see if they agree.
Yeah, I think Sybil kind of looks over and is like, I'll take it. Saying to the two of you, I'll take it.
And the Suzerain doesn't necessarily work directly with the people who did this to me.
Oh, no, that was quite unfortunate. Those were the people who were, looking for the princess's bones for whatever weird things they do.
Oh, the one.
Experiments they run, trying to better understand human anatomy. This is the child who is now sort of a frill-necked lizard person in, orphan's clothing with a whole set of silver rings on each hand.
All right. Well, Salazar mutters something about the serpent folk that you know. Or something.
Yes. I was delighted to see you frustrate their desires so thoroughly.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure we can work something out then.
And here the bowler hat wearing sort of chameleon sort of moves further into the light, removing the bowler hat and sort of holding it in his lizardy claws as the very, very tall crocodilian woman with the parakeet sort of pecking between her teeth.
Is the parakeet still a parakeet?
Yeah.
Well, that's something.
Pulls out reaches into her very large handbag and pulls out a rather large, something that looks a little like a change purse, but is very substantial. I think that you'll find this is capable of keeping you for some time, a little bit of time.
That works.
When you start to dip into that, we'll be in touch.
Oh,
All right.
Also,
About what the Suzerain would
can
like.
you
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Could you also recommend like an apartment or something that might be a little less sewer-like, that maybe would less hiding necessary? Maybe a tailor that specializes in baggy clothing.
The bowler hat man with the black scales, or maybe they're kind of gray and silvery. It's kind of hard to tell in the moonlight. Reaches into the inside of his bowler and pulls out a card and puts it into the torn cuffs of your pants.
Thanks.
They'll expect payment, but I think you can afford it.
Yeah, thanks.
Very well, then. I suppose we have a deal.
We do. As long as you say we do. Will you say that? You work for the Suzerain now?
For the time being, yes.
But you work for the Suzerain now. Can you say that?
We work for the Suzerain now?
Do you concur Sybil?
Yes. Yeah, we seem to work for the Suzerain now. Yeah.
Jabriel?
I am going to first battle magic. So I will make an intellect check.
Make that intellect check.
That is an 11, which is under my intellect.
You are indeed about to make a solemn agreement,
All right.
though it's not permanent. You would know it's not the kind of thing that would last forever, but it will certainly. It's the kind of thing that guarantees that you're not going to betray the person you make this to in the short term.
I am before I agree to these terms. Are we? What's the time period of this contract? What's the expiration date?
Until the money runs out.
The 12-foot guy completely unhelpfully whispers, "We could probably blow a lot of money pretty fast."
Well, yeah, we work for the Suzerain now.
Very good. We'll be in touch. And I think with that, we're going to end it for tonight. Thank you all for joining us. Audience at home, we'll have a quick debrief once we go off the air, and then we'll see you next week.